From the far corners of the fandom universe, representing film, comics, and anime, sci-fi, fantasy, and cosplay, they come together for one cause: to geek out. They are the Council of the Blurs. Blurred powers unite. Engage.
Hold up, am I coming in good? Is that good? Make sure everything's straight. Alright, there we go. Alright, we should be good to go. And what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Council of the Blurs. I am, of course, your host, Kendra Gray, the
Yo,
Dreadlock
that was
Blur.
dope, man.
Like, I don't know what's going on today. I think it's been a long. It's kind of been a long day, kind of.
Did I just see captions?
So,
That was dope. No, go ahead, Ken.
so the whole council is here tonight. So this should make for a pretty good show. Of course, got to give you the shameless plugs and the rundown. If you're watching from YouTube, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Especially subscribe. Please hit the bell right next to the subscribe button so you know every time we drop a new video or we go live. If you're watching this on Facebook, please like us on our Facebook fan page. That like would definitely help us with our numbers because we are trying to get them up. And like I said, we're trying to be a little bit more interactive on our social media platforms. That also goes for Discord, where you can follow us there. You can go follow us on Instagram, and that's actually pretty much it. We are not on Twitter, and we're probably never going to be on Twitter. That is a toxic place that we don't need to be. So
Yeah.
so so yeah, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, Twitch. At some point, we'll get a Twitch thing going. So we just got to work those logistics out and stuff. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for on the shameless plugs and stuff. So anyone watching right now, thank you all for tuning in. And I hope your conversations are as good as they always are. Your conversations definitely help this thing be a lot more entertaining. I'm not saying that we can't entertain ourselves just the four of us, but your input is definitely very much appreciated. All that being said, let's get right into today's topic. And we are kind of piggyback offing what we talked about on our last show. Last show, we covered the fiasco centering around the PlayStation 5, its pricing, the pre-order insanity that's still going on at this point. It's still going on. I think the latest piece of news to drop is that pre-orders are actually being canceled in some places. Some people who are like, I believe GameStop last Friday was actually going to start allowing for pre-orders, and I think as early as this week, pre-orders has started to cancel. So it's a crazy turn of events, and it made us consider actually the nature of pre-ordering. Pre-ordering, as far as I know, pre-ordering's been around probably. I mean, it's probably been as early as around the 16-bit days. Around Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and stuff. But I've never known too many games to come out with anything super special about them around that time. I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't remember seeing anything like that. But I think as early as maybe as soon as like PlayStation, Sega Saturn, and all those other consoles started to come out, I think that's when the pre-orders really started to get really, really big. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, pre-ordering is of course the practice of ordering a product before it is released. You either get to pay down a portion of it, or most people can just pay for the whole thing outright. So that way, when it is released, you either just expect it to come in the mail. These days, come in the mail, or you go in the store and pick it up. The same thing works with video games. It works with a lot of things actually, but I think video games is where it really became prominent because you have the regular edition of a game, you have the special edition, or the collector's edition, or the ultimate edition. You have an edition that comes with a game controller. You have an edition that comes with a statue. You have, an edition that comes with all the pre-order download stuff, so you get first dibs on like any DLC that might be a part of that game. Now, the last game I probably pre-ordered, ironically, was Avengers, and I haven't even started playing it yet. Honestly, I'm actually waiting for all the DLC to come out. That might be the only game that's going to be sitting on my PS4 for a good minute until all the DLC is out. Because right now, the story to me just seems a little bit repetitive. It doesn't really. I mean, playing with the characters is cool, but from an Avengers game, you're expecting more. But then again, Marvel has never really had a good track as far as game is concerned, with the exception of the Marvel vs. Capcom series. What is it? Marvel Ultimate Alliance. All those like kind of like turn-based games and stuff that used to come out. But as far as it stands, I guess, especially in today's world, I guess the question we're just ultimately asking is pre-ordering even necessary these days? One of the things that we've talked about before was Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is notoriously known for putting out the game first, and then like maybe within like 6 to 7 months, even maybe a year, they'll release like a complete version of the game. So while most of us, myself included, would purchase the game outright on release day, and then of course either download or pay and download for subsequent DLCs. Come to find out 6 to 7 or a year later, they have the whole complete edition, which has everything that you ever purchased beforehand, and you're just paying completely for the game. Now, it is of course a big money making. I'm not even going to call it a scheme. It's a big money making, enterprise. It's a money making trope. A lot of people definitely capitalize on pre-ordering, but again, the question comes to mind is, was it really necessary in 2020? 2020 and beyond? Is it really necessary? I mean, what are your guys' thoughts?
Well, I'm actually gonna make a bit of a correction on what you said, or
Yes,
embellish
please.
on something you said before that. The pre-ordering system before Amazon and GameStop became the big thing, the pre-order system actually wasn't a pre-order system. It was literally game day releases. So basically, retailers will buy a bunch of stock and hope that it lasts.
Right.
That's the way it usually worked. Now, about when Amazon and GameStop became popular, it helped them forecast their sales better.
Right.
When they put out saying, hey, this is going to be releasing this date, who wants to put out pre-orders for it? So that helped them buy stock so that they're not overbuying the process. They're overbuying for their stores. That's when it became really popular, because it allowed people to actually guarantee their item before they actually got to the store. So I'm just saying, just to kind of embellish upon that in particular, it's just the fact that GameStop and Amazon made pre-ordering the thing to do, because it really wasn't being done before. Pretty much they just bought a lot of stock and hope it sold.
Right.
Which now is not the case anymore. They buy stock, and if it's the Wii, it'll sit there for 20 years. If it's the Wii, it'll sit there for 20 years. But they'll buy stock, and that stock will be based upon how many pre-orders they have in general. But I think in general, like you said before, the pre-order system made a lot of games popular, a lot of systems more popular over time.
Yeah.
One of the games that comes off mind is Call of Duty.
Right.
Call of Duty was one of those pre-order games that when people first got it, it was an amazing game. Everybody wanted to play it. So when the next one came out, you wanted to go pre-order it. You had to go out and pre-order. You had to go get it. You had to be first person hand, because you get the same day it releases. Sometimes, the night before midnight.
Right.
Midnight
releases. Yeah.
So you'll sometimes get them that night. So just to have it physically in hand, to be able to kind of master the game before everybody else, that's what made pre-order popular. Now in the days of online gaming, where you have free games that are doing the same thing that Call of Duty is doing, I don't think personally is necessary anymore because of the fact that most people can digitally download their games the same day.
Right.
The only time I think it's necessary is in this particular case where if you're going to buy a PlayStation or you're going to buy a system and you know for sure that you're going to buy that system and you want it in hand that day. That's the only time I think, because consoles are the one thing you can't get when you walk in the store. You just can't walk in the store and buy it. It's not going to be there. But games, definitely. Games will always be there, whether it be digital downloads. Digital downloads will always be there. There's an infinite amount of those. There's never going to change that.
Right.
Your disc are always going to be there for the most part. If this GameStop doesn't have it, the next one's going to have it. If they don't have it, Amazon definitely has it unless it's special edition.
Right.
And that's the other thing. If you're looking for a special edition of something. So like I mentioned last week, the only reason why I pre-ordered Kingdom Hearts 3. The only reason I did that is because of the fact that I like the pins that I get with Kingdom Hearts. So usually with the Kingdom Hearts games, and I'll tell you a GameStop story eventually through this, where I ordered Kingdom Hearts 2.5.
Right.
I'll tell you about that later. But I pre-ordered this game only to get that pin. Now, is it a stupid thing? Yeah. Is it a Disney thing? Yeah. But I know it's not something you're going to be able to buy anywhere else.
Right.
Unless somebody sells their pen, and they're going to sell an extravagant amount anyway, so I might as well just get the actual package. But you're looking at literally paying $85, $70 for one game at that point.
Yeah.
Just for a pen. Like, looking back on it, I was like, it's probably the dumbest decision I ever made. But for one pen, I paid about $70. Doesn't make any sense. Or $80. Doesn't make any sense. So it's all depending on what your needs are. If you're definitely looking for those collector's items that only come with the special packages, go ahead. Shoot for the moon. Shoot for the moon. Go ahead. But I personally stopped pre-ordering games after Kingdom Hearts. I legitimately have no reason to, unless it has something is coming with that I want. I really don't want to pre-order games anymore. As a lot of things that I have in my house, a lot of things I gave away, a lot of things I've thrown away because I don't use it. And I'm finding more and more that some of the games, you pre-order them and they're kind of crap when you get them.
Yeah.
They get hyped up and you're ready. And you, like I said, Kingdom Hearts is a good example for me. I beat that in 24 hours? That should never happen.
I mean, that's essentially me with Avengers. Like, I pre-ordered it, played the beta, and I'm like, I was literally contemplating, like, maybe I should just cancel this pre-order because I don't know. There's not really a lot. There's really a lot happening in this game to me warranting, pre-ordering it right now, especially when there's a lot more content that's supposed to be released.
Now, unless you want to really just treat yourself and just get the most out of a system right away, then it's not really necessary. It's best to wait and just see what happens. I mean, because from what I've read, the PS5 and Xbox Series X, they can render games at 4K resolution. Am I correct?
Yeah.
With HDR, so it's got high frame rates and everything, and you would have to have a good TV in order to meet those graphics anyway. So it starts to go into the pocket a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the other things is as we can see, pre-ordering can be a nightmare. Just being patient is the best thing to do. Besides, a lot of the games that they have, a lot of the next titles for the next gen are being released on PS4. I'm very excited about the Cyberpunk game that's coming out. I think it's coming out in November. So
yeah,
unless you're just a tech junkie and you gotta have it, it's best just to hang back, man. Just hang back, because I waited this long to get a PS4. Ladies and gentlemen, I bought my PS4 last month. I have been riding on Xbox 360 until it stopped playing games. It stopped playing my discs. And then I moved back and I said, well, I'm going to do the retro thing. That's why I made retro and actually an excuse to I'm into retro games now. No, because all I had to play games was a PS4. But anyway, it's best to, I would say I'm like on that, for this is just me. I'm on that fence of like, wait a little while. I'm probably not going to get a PS5 for like, like at least like a couple of years, because I barely really broken in my PS4.
Right.
I mean, as a matter of fact, I'm looking at a list right now. The first party PlayStation 5 games that are also going to be released on PS4 is Horizon Forbidden West,
Right.
Big Adventure, Spider-Man Miles Morales. I was kind of like this, like, you mean I won't be able to play Miles Morales on my PS4? Damn! But then I was like, yo, that's cool.
We mentioned that last week, actually. You mentioned that because of the fact that people are running to this, but the thing is that there is really nothing that they're releasing right now just for the PS5. There's nothing that's legitimately being released that doesn't work on the PS4 right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there's not a lot of exclusive games, I come to find out anyway.
No.
Yeah.
It's getting harder and harder to do that. It's pre-ordering, and I get what Victor said. And you pre-order games, that's gonna last you a week, or games that are worth it. He mentioned Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Those experiences I wait for years before, and I could understand that. I guess now I keep throwing it back in there. That was Kingdom Hearts 3 for me.
Right.
But because Kingdom Hearts 2 took me forever to beat, I assumed Kingdom Hearts 3 would do the same.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to talk about a gap. How many years did we wait for Kingdom Hearts 3? It was like over 10 years?
Yeah.
Over 15 years? It's like we haven't had a game since the PlayStation 2.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
For us to kind of, to move forward and to believe that you can actually get a game. Same thing, Uncharted. Was it the last Uncharted? Yeah, the last Uncharted, another game.
Mm-hmm.
Waited so long to get it. How long did it take me to beat it? 2 days. I mean, it's not. It really, at this point, I really am so.
Oh no!
Oh no! What happened?
I feel like her computer probably shut down on her or something. But she'll be back. She'll definitely be back, guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But even just to piggyback off of what she was saying, like I've always been the type of person. I would rarely get a game on release day.
Yeah.
Like I was the person that would rarely get a game on release day. Like certain games, I would just wait after a while, whether it's because I didn't have the money for it at the time, but or most of the time it was just like I just wanted to see exactly what this game was looking like first before I decided to put some money into it. There are only few games that I like pre-ordered, and if I pre-ordered, it's because I really wanted something that came with the game. For instance, like I think the first game I ever pre-ordered was Tekken 5. Tekken 5 was the first game I ever pre-ordered, but at the time when Tekken 5 came out, it came like the big arcade joystick. It came with a case.
I remember that.
For all of that. Like if you had all the Tekken games like I did, I had all the Tekken games from 1 all the way up to 5 at that point. It came with a special case where you could put all of your Tekken games inside. That was like my Tekken Bible. Like, I literally took my Tekken games out of their original cases and put them in the Tekken case that came with Tekken 5. Like,
were you able to unlock Starblade?
Yes.
Oh, I hate you.
I love
Starblade. I gave away my Starblade years ago, and then I was like, oh, I miss Starblade. Then I was like, wait a minute, I can unlock Starblade in this, and I could not complete that adventure part. It was so hard.
Anyone who's known me for a long time knows that I am a huge Tekken fanatic. I was a Tekken since Tekken 2. I was a Tekken fan, and I've played every subsequent Tekken after that. Tekken 3, Tekken Tag, Tekken 4, Tekken 5. I got Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection on my PS3. What else? Tekken 6, Tekken 7. I have at one point owned every single version of Tekken.
I have a side story real quick. While I was working over at my job, I used to work over at the parking spot, and we get customers coming in and out. They're flying in and they're flying out and everything. And I walked up. There's a gentleman that had on what looked like an official Mortal Kombat jacket on. It looked pretty official. I was like, this guy. I'll bet he probably works as with one of the developers, or maybe he works with the game. And come to find out that he was one of the developers for the game. I don't remember his name, but we got into this nice conversation about Mortal Kombat. And then, as you mentioned Tekken, we both looked at each other, and I looked at him. I said, "Yo, why couldn't you get Negan to be on Mortal Kombat?" The character Negan I know this is this is kind of a side story here, but what is Negan doing in Tekken?
Yeah, that was
he is such a Mortal Kombat character, and he agreed 100%.
That one threw me for a loop. Like, when I first heard the announcement, I was like, oh snap, Negan's coming to Tekken. But then I was like, Negan's coming to Tekken? That doesn't sound coherent. I mean,
any of the Tekken characters, none of those Tekken characters would have allowed themselves to be in that eeny, meeny, miny, mo situation.
Yeah.
Especially Brian Fury. Brian Fury would be like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, this.
I mean, I'll give Katsuhiro Harada, I'll give him credit for nagging Negan for Tekken 7, but I'm like, you're right. He's definitely a character that's better suited for Mortal Kombat. Like when Mortal Kombat 2011 got Kratos for the PlayStation exclusive, I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. Kratos would belong in something like this. And then, like, even in the other subsequent games, like Mortal Kombat X, we had the Predator, we had Alien, we had Jason, we had Leatherface. I'm like, that makes sense. And even with Mortal Kombat 11 and Aftermath, we got the Terminator, we have RoboCop, we have the Joker.
Worthy opponents.
That makes sense.
Worthy opponents.
Those are characters I would like to see in the Mortal Kombat universe. Yeah, I would definitely like to see that. But Negan being in Tekken, I mean, like, you got to figure they have Noctis from Final Fantasy, 14? Is that where he's from? They have Geese Howard from the original Fatal Fury Final Fight. They have Geese Howard. Who else? I haven't played Tekken 7 in a while, so.
It's been a minute.
I mean, then they have some of the originals coming back. Lei Wulong came back. Zafina. They have my boy, Leroy Smith, Mr. Wing Chun. Yeah, he's pretty nice too. But Negan, I don't know. Like
Bruce Irving, back to Kotan.
Exactly. So
that was my man.
But like just to jump back onto like the pre-order subject, Tekken, like I said, Tekken 5 was the first game I ever pre-ordered. Like. Other games, I just I pre-ordered, but I didn't think of them as pre-ordering is because it was just like I put money down on a game, and then like either the day it came out or a day later it came, or a few days later it came out, I would go ahead and pay the rest of it and pick it up. So, I mean, the only other game I actually really pre-ordered was Injustice: Gods Among Us, the first one, and that came with like a very lovely statue of Wonder Woman grabbing up on Batman, choking him with the lasso of truth. Getting ready to throw a ship at him. Like, that's sitting on my movie shelf right now. Like to me, it has to be worth it for a pre-order. Because I mean, like Kim said, eventually, certain things that you want, if there's like a game that comes with a certain like piece of memorabilia with it, it's more than likely you're not going to get it with the pre-order. I mean, if you don't pre-order, rather, if you just go to get the game, you're just going to go get the game. Hey, Kimmy's back. Welcome back.
Hey, hello.
Yeah,
you're back.
I might have to start a Kim needs a new laptop fund.
Oh.
If you guys watching and you would like to donate to the Kim needs a new laptop fund, you're welcome to do so right now.
There you go.
You're welcome to do so right now, so she can not have to worry about getting her computer shutting down midstream.
Every single time, never fails.
So
at least once.
See, we will take that donation. We will take it.
It's Cash App.
Yeah. Victor said there's also something to be said about going to a midnight release and being around other people who are excited for the game. That okay, that part
that's a hit or miss.
Yeah, it depends on what game it is.
Miss.
Like, because I would see like there's a video game store that was literally like down the street from me, and I'm so mad that they were gone right now. But there's a video game store right down the street, and they had midnight releases for Modern Warfare. I remember boy Sion, he wanted to go pick up whatever whatever Call of Duty came out at the time. He wanted to go get it. I was never really one to do something like that for a game. I'm like, no, I'll pick it up in a day. I'll pick it up during the day. I would see videos like when the newest Halo would drop. They would have Master Chief come and deliver, copies of, Halo. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Like if they had like if they had like Batman and Superman dropping off copies of Injustice for like Injustice 1 or 2 at midnight, I'd definitely go to that.
That's dope.
I would do that if they did that, but they didn't.
Well, and I can tell you again, throwing Kingdom Hearts, because the last game I went, when Kingdom Hearts came out, it was like -10 outside.
Yeah.
People, I'm like, first of all, I went up there and I'm gonna tell you right now, anybody knows Jersey, West Orange is in the mountains. Mm-hmm. It's cold. Yeah. It's colder up there. I went all the way to West Orange, dumb idea. Sat in my car and I'm sitting there looking at these people. I'm like, these people are legitimately waiting in line, like they don't have something waiting for them on the inside.
Right.
And they're like legitimately, I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're just standing and the line is like wrapping around the place. I'm just like, I'm gonna sit in my car because no matter what, I'm gonna get the game.
Right.
But it's warm in my car. Mm-hmm. It's not warm on that street. And I remember the one kid got his game and got in his car, and I will never forget this for the life of me. Started blasting the theme song of Kingdom Hearts, going ha ha. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? What are you, 5? Are you 5?
Was he 5?
I'm like, he was driving. I highly doubt he was 5, but that's the mentality people sometimes have, is that I got mine first and you didn't get yours. It's like, come on, nah. Like, I got my ice cream. Oh, come on.
And then when they drop it, you just hope that you drop it. You be like, yeah, you dropped your ice cream.
Right.
Dropped your ice cream.
Like, come on now, bro. It's like, it's never that. And, and I've been the good ones. And, and that the guy I was talking to at the time, bless his soul, because he's never seen cosplay before in his entire life.
Wow.
I would never seen cosplay before. And I took him with me to one of the midnight openings. And this kid, and I will, again, another thing I won't forget, he's over here laughing at this kid. And I remember almost wanting to slap him upside his head. This kid had a whole Assassin's Creed outfit his mother made for him.
Nice.
And it was dope. I was like, it was completely dope. I wish I would take a picture of it and kept it for myself, because his mom did it up. Like, I was about to call his mom up, like, hey, I need some cosplay outfits. How much you gonna charge me? Like, good. And you could tell that he was, not completely, he was on the spectrum.
Right.
That's the way to put it. He's on the spectrum. Mm-hmm. So you can tell. But I legitimately, and I see he's like, yo, I was like, I want to take a picture, but I don't want to be rude. And I'm like, you have to teach people, and that's the same type of people that are in there. Mm-hmm. They're buying the game, they've never seen this stuff before. They're just laughing at these people, but they don't understand this. It's an actual mindset. This is legitimately life for some people.
Yeah.
Right.
And I legitimately walked to this kid and I'm like, hey, my friend is admiring your kid, even though he wasn't, but he wants to take a picture with you. You mind? Kid was all for it, happy as can be. Like, he made his day. But the fact is that you go to some of those and you meet some wonderful people like him, and you'll educate other people like the person I was talking to. But you'll meet people like that kid that pretty much drove his, I think it was a Benz too on top of it all, drove his Benz out of the West Orange market. Like, dude, like, if you were that rich, you would just had it delivered to you by your butler. Come on now, bro.
Yeah.
Your personal assistant would have came here. Mm-hmm. Don't play with me. I'm like, I really, it doesn't know. I'm like,
kind of Benz though. Could have been a cheap one.
I don't even remember. I'm not gonna sit there and try to remember. I'm like,
E-class, then don't necessarily have money.
I'm like, at the end of the day, I sometimes see it's a hit or a miss, and then you have some people that haven't showered in like 3 weeks, You
Oh
walk
man.
in, and I'm like, and you walk in there sometimes at the midnights, and you're like, I should have just came the next day. I shouldn't have came in today. And there's times where I've gone and because of a mix-up, because of a horrible mix-up, and went completely Karen and the game stopped.
Right.
You know, it happens, you know, but you're going to experience all types. And I'm like, and that's the thing for me, it's not, again, midnights are not even worth it for me anymore. I guess I'm just getting too old or too young. You don't know how old I am now, so whatever.
She gonna keep that going for as long as she can. She's just gonna try to hide that age, but it ain't gonna last forever. It's gonna come out eventually.
But you know, but the better way of saying it, maybe I'm just growing out of it. You know, because it's just I don't feel the need to have a game in that moment, and plus I work.
Yeah,
Releases are what, on Wednesdays and Thursdays, Tuesdays sometimes.
Tuesdays usually. Like,
come on now.
Like at this point right now, I'm either if it's not on Amazon yet, I'll just wait because I don't even have time to really be trying to go to a GameStop, even though there's one that's relatively close. I was just like, I'll just sit here and I'll just wait for it to.
I'm trying to think which one's close.
The one in East Orange.
The one in West Orange.
I don't go to East Orange.
I mean, I've been there like a couple times, but like, nah.
Yeah, I don't mess with East Orange. I'll drive up the hill.
Yeah, so. but it's just one of those things. Like pre-ordering, again, it has to be a game that I'm really, really dying to play. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh yeah.
I didn't pre-order that. I bought that digital.
Like
that.
Do I have the hard copy?
I bought it digital. I legitimately just opened the PlayStation store before my computer decided
that to crap and I think that's really what it comes down to also, because now it's like, now that we can, I mean, it was different then. It was different then because, you know, back when the PS3, to a degree, PS2, PS1, and systems before that, you had to have a physical copy. So that's why pre-ordering was a big thing. But like now, where I can, like she said, I could just go to the PlayStation Network, pay my price, and download the mess. Now it might take a day to download, depending on what kind of game it is. Because like
Final Fantasy.
Like I think I bought Final Fantasy, because I don't think I pre-ordered Final Fantasy 7 either. I bought it the day of, and I couldn't play it until like Saturday.
And you know what? Yeah. What's some wild thing? I didn't even buy it the day of. You know what day I bought it? When they had that sale. That's when I bought it. So I waited and still played it and still beat it around the same time some people were beating the game normally. So, and I'm like, okay.
So, and that's the other thing. And it's crazy because you mentioned it being cheaper, being on sale. Like, I don't think people realize, you know, PlayStation Network, or what, I don't know what Xbox equivalent is. I don't know what it's called, but you just sit there and just search through. I guarantee you, the game that you've been dying to play
is half off.
And usually, you know what? Games usually go on sale like maybe I'd say like maybe a month or two after it's released. Like they go on sale pretty quickly.
It depends on the sales. So if the actual sales, like for one of the games that actually I want to buy, which is Control is still up there in price, but I keep missing the sales for it. But whatever.
Right.
The Control, the deluxe copy of that, which goes for about $80, was going for the price of the actual regular one.
Yep.
So you're literally looking at almost about a half price difference right there, because of the fact that they're legitimately discounting it on the PlayStation Network. So a lot of people don't realize, for you not to have that digital that physical copy, there's some games I legitimately want the physical copy of. There's never going to change.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I will either hold out for it, or I will, if it's necessary to pre-order it, I will. But But I will have that physical copy. That being said, if it's something that I don't necessarily need right away, I'm just gonna go on the PlayStation Network and just buy it, and I'm gonna wait it out as long as I can. That way, you know, so you find some decent gems that way. You know, buying through there and find a $1.99 game while you're at it. Like, let me go play this real fast.
Like I tell you, the last physical Street Fighter game that I bought might have been Street Fighter 4. Like when Super Street Fighter 4 came out, downloaded that. When Ultra Street Fighter 4 came out, downloaded that. I'm like, I'm not gonna be out here trying to buy a physical copy of this when it's just an update of a game that you should have came out with a while ago. Like, hell, like I just got I got Street Fighter 5 because it was free. I wasn't gonna pay for that. Like Street Fighter 5 had to be free for me to get it.
Yeah.
Like it is. So
it's like the ultimate collection for Drake. I would have never bought that if they didn't give it to me free. It would never would have been in my cart.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I would have never. It would have never. But the thing is that it was free. As long as it was free, it was for me. If they put and they do it a lot on the PlayStation Network.
Exactly.
They put up a lot of free games, especially if you have the actual pass, which I don't. But you know, you kind of have to continuously keep going through that motion of getting out that habit of going, I need it now.
Right.
And I think that's what people's thing is. I need instant gratification. I need it in my hand immediately. I need it to. I'm like, and not everything is worth it. Honestly, it's not. Not everything. I'm like, I have gone to stores, and I'm a serial offender of this. I get buyer's remorse all the time. I will go into a GameStop, buy $100, $150 worth of games, come back and return half of them.
Wow.
Why? Well, it's only like 4 games anyway, but still.
Yeah.
But like, because they legitimately don't appeal when you start actually reading the reviews and start listening and start watching, and you're like, wait a second, this is a crappy game. I remember buying a game. What was it? I'm trying to think what the name of the game is, and actually ended up giving it away later. I'm gonna look it up actually eventually. I bought a game in GameStop, returned it, turned around 6 months down the road, it went on sale for $9 at GameStop. You know, I bought it.
Wow.
I think there's a couple of games I did that with. Real quick, Josh said she does mostly digital games now, mostly indie games. And that's why
why I said those gems. Those are legitimately the gems.
Yes.
A lot of the people don't realize a lot of the gems that are on here that you can't get a physical copy for are on the digital, and they're actually really good.
Yeah. Like, I can't remember. There's actually a couple games that I bought that I was thinking I was going to like really, really enjoy. I ended up like either like not liking it or beating it too quickly, and I was like, yeah, we're going to just take this back because it wasn't because it really wasn't. It wasn't worth it at launch. I should say it wasn't worth it at launch. Like Kim said, like it was like if it's a game that like you bought at launch, you didn't really like at that point, but like if you saw it on sale, it was like, you know what, I'll pick it up. What the heck, you know, I'll do that. Like, yeah.
I'm trying to think of the Dragon Age. Is that the name of the game? No. I'm losing my mind right now because I'm super tired. Skyrim. Wow. That's backwards. That's way backwards. Skyrim. Never played Skyrim before. I actually watched my cousin play it on the Xbox. I got my PlayStation 4. Skyrim has been out for how long now? Finally went on and bought Skyrim. When I bought Skyrim, I got it for like $20. But I'm like, you look at people and they're like, I still enjoyed the game.
Right.
Even though everybody has played it already. Has played the life out of it. Same thing with Fallout 4. Everybody played the life out of Fallout 4. But I bought Fallout 4 for $5. Can't beat $5.
Right.
So but I ended up enjoying that game. So you legitimately have to constantly be on that lookout of doing that. But it's like you have to start becoming a bargain shopper now, especially places like GameStop, because they take advantage, especially when they had that Circle of Life program, when they had all that stuff, when they were doing all that nonsense. And you know, Josh, you can correct me if I'm wrong. They were basically taking advantage of the consumers at one point in time. So we got to start taking advantage of them, you know, and not necessarily going out on launch, letting them know $60, $70 for a game that lasts me only a couple of days.
Right.
Mario still lasts me a lifetime. I still can't beat Mario. Come on now.
Yeah. Me too.
I still can't beat it. How is it I can't beat Mario, but I can beat your game in 24 hours? Even a week sometimes is too short for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Because especially if I get an open world game. If I get an open world game and I beat it in a week, there's a problem.
That's a real big problem for an open world game, actually.
That's a problem.
I mean, because
So
like I said, like I invested like almost like a whole month in Ghost of Tsushima. Like I was just all over the place in that game. Like that, and that's an open world game done right. Like and just like you said, like like and like I know a lot of people don't generally do this anymore or have never really done it, but I've gotten really big in watching game reviews. Like
yeah,
when I watch people, even if they're doing it as gameplay, I watch because it's like I want to see what this person really thinks of this game. Like if it's even worth my time. Because
the
it's
one
like
thing they don't do anymore is they don't do as often. You used to be able to get a disc with a bunch of games on it back when the PS1 and PS2 happened.
Man,
and you would play a bunch of
listen,
demos.
I was the king of the demo disc. Like what? Like you couldn't tell me
Yes!
I couldn't wait to get a demo disc from PlayStation. I'm like, yo, let's go. I want to see what's out here. Because like I wish they brought that back.
Wipeout XL, I will never forget. I love that game. I love Wipeout, the hovercraft racing game. Daft Punk, y'all. That's all I gotta say.
Real quick, John said that she prefers physical. And you know what? I'm still like that too. Like as much as I've been doing, I've gotten a lot more digital games with PS4 over the years since I've had it. But I'm still like a physical copy type of person. I just like having it in hand, having it on the shelf. So it's like, yeah, there we go.
You know what tends to help me is because I have that terabyte hard drive on my PlayStation. Is that I'm actually able to keep a lot of that stuff on my screen.
Yeah.
So it like before you used to have to delete,
right.
if it was on you have to delete the content on there just to kind of move it out.
Right.
Because now you need the space. Now you no longer have to do that if you have a terabyte hooked up. So for me, it's easier for me to have digitals because literally when I try to go to certain apps, I now have to scroll and see, and I keep scrolling. I'm like, no. And I'm like, okay, maybe I need to play this game first. Like before I buy a new game, and that's the reason why I haven't bought any yet, because I'm like, before I buy a new game, I really need to finish this. Or I really need to do this. So it's kind of putting me in that mindset of like, okay, even my physical games. My physical games have been sitting up there. They could be forgotten about too.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like I said last week, I was gonna force myself to remember to play Spider-Man. So I like right after we were done with the last week's show, I literally went to my shelf, took Spider-Man out of his case, and put it in the PS4. I'm like, okay, because gonna make sure you're in here, so I know that when I turn you on, you're the first game that pops up that I gotta play.
I haven't even opened mine up yet. I haven't even opened it up. It's still like encased in plastic.
And
a
real
lot
quick,
of games like that too.
Yeah. And real quick, just a quick side note. I am not for the redesign of Peter Parker for Spider-Man PS5. I don't know why they went the Tom Holland route. I know why they went to Tom Holland route, but I don't know why they went to Tom Holland route. Like they are really leaning into the MCU framework right now. And as far as it stands, the design of Peter Parker for PS4, I thought that was good. It made that Spider-Man game a unique game. So as far as getting Spider-Man for PS5, I don't need to do that. I'm sticking with my PS4 version. That's it. I mean, just going back to the chat again.
We're good.
Let's see.
I had to return Anarchy Reigns back in 2013 because the game was boring.
And it unfortunately that's a gamble. Unfortunately, that really is a game, and that's been with all games. Like even from the 16-bit days up until now, that's just been a gamble. Like I'm really trying to think of any games that I bought that like I just automatically returned. There were some of them. There was just one I just bought. It was too difficult for no reason, and I don't know if they designed it that way. I just gave it to a friend. I was like, "Here, you play it." Like,
that's how I am with a lot of my games at this point.
This don't make no daggone sense. It don't.
I don't want this anymore. I don't need this in my life. I don't need this type of negativity in my life right now.
Exactly.
Let's see.
I'll play a difficult game if it's enjoyable.
Yeah, that's Dark Souls for me. First
like
10
really.
minutes of Dark Souls, I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm like, no, this is not my cup of tea. I'm good.
Like I know a lot of people don't have too much of a high opinion, but Batman Arkham Origins,
Yeah.
it had its hiccups, but I enjoyed that game a lot. Like, and really, the only thing I really enjoyed about the game was the boss fight with Deathstroke. I'll play that all day. I will literally play that all day. I'll just play that boss fight all day. I like that part. But I don't know. It's
cool.
It's I don't know, like that. So that's why I said, like, I really I jump on YouTube and I search these games up and I see and I look for people who are playing these games, like if it's Maximilian Dude or sometimes Markiplier or Angry Joe or something like that. Like
I don't care who it is. Sometimes it's just a matter of sometimes it's just looking at gameplay.
Yeah.
And like for instance, I'll throw that out there with the Death Stranding. If I would have looked at Death Stranding video, which I did, when I looked at Death Stranding videos, it looked so interesting.
Yeah.
I should have looked at maybe somebody playing part 27 or 28 of it. And then realized very quickly, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be playing this game for the rest of my life because I can't deal with this. I'm like, but that's something that if I would have just did a little bit more research, I probably would have bought something else over that.
Right.
But I chose that over this. And that was the thing. It's like, I'm like, yeah, no. I'm gonna support. But going back to the comics, Josh says Sonic Ultimate Genesis Collection was the last good compilation disc and a rare replay.
I miss that so much. Oh my, you have no idea how much I want that. I've literally been scouting like PS3. I've been scouting like the PS Network to see if it shows up, because that Ultimate Collection was fire for me, and I'm a huge Sonic fan, so I've been looking for that.
Yeah. Then they said when I don't even know how to say this. MWABA.
That's Daryl.
That's Daryl.
Yeah, that's Daryl.
Okay. Daryl said when I first got Sleeping Dogs, I had to watch the gameplay of it on YouTube back in 2013.
I mean, that's where we are right now. I mean, it's really to a point where like you got to get like a different perspective on a certain game. I mean, depending on who you watch and depending on what game it is, they might make you more excited for the game, or they might turn you off. It's
and that's as a consumer, you have because that's your fingertips now. We really should be using it, and let the YouTubers buy them. Let the YouTubers, because that's where they make their money anyway.
Exactly.
So
YouTubers pre-ordering kind of makes sense.
Twitch streamers pre-ordering, that's how they make their money.
I mean, oftentimes they get a free copy of the game anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In most cases.
Let them play it. Let them show you sometimes, and just wait it out. Stop pre-order, because they're just charging us an exorbitant amount of money for some of these games, and it's like whatever. Like Watch Dogs. I'm so glad I had freaking GameFly when Watch Dogs came out. Ooh,
GameFly is another good one. Actually, that's actually something that's very slept on. Now that I think about it.
Yes.
I did GameFly for a little bit, but honestly speaking, it was like
I should have been doing it more.
Exactly, because trying to get a game from a video store was very hard. It was very rough, because video stores will let you hold the game up for like a whole week, and if it was a very popular game, they only have only maybe have like 1 or 2 copies of a game. So like if it was a game that you really wanted to play, you'd have to like wait a good while. GameFly was a very good alternative.
Yeah.
Because like again, GameFly was the first service that helped me play Mirror's Edge. Like that was the first game I rented from GameFly, and I was like, I really like this game, and then eventually I ended up buying it. Later on down the line, I ended up buying it when it was cheaper, but I was like, you know what, this isn't bad, and I'm like, the alternative to like buying it digitally or just having to go to the store. I mean, GameFly is it's like a good taste test, really, for the game. So like,
yes.
And a lot of times they let you keep it for as long as you need it.
Exactly, yeah.
And that was the best part. And like that's how I played Alice: The Madness Begins. Whatever. That game was amazing, but but I would have never played that game on my own. I would have never.
Yeah. Because
of the fact that was something that I wasn't interested in, but it was just because it was GameFly. I'm like, I have the subscription, why not? And I'm like, I ended up enjoying it. I mean, so it's like you kind of have to have this mindset of we need more alternatives like that. And yeah, you might have to wait another week or so before they let GameFly get their hands on the game.
Exactly.
But I'm like, you need more alternatives like that because you want to be able to return it. If it's terrible, you can return it.
Right.
You know, that's what I did with Black Ops. I returned it within 24 hours. It was a 24-hour turnaround. It was back in the mailbox already.
And
Scanned,
then,
ready to go.
And then you also got to consider the fact that, you know, aside from testing out a game, like it beats a demo. Because you got to figure, you got timed demos, you got demos that only let you try out like certain characters or let you play like
certain levels,
one level. And stuff like one level is like, and it's not the same. Like you got like, if you're gonna go for a taste, you got to go for a taste. So, like I'll petition right now. Like if you can get a GameFly subscription, because I'm pretty sure they're still around. If you can get one, I say get one. I mean, if you can, just so you can test drive a game for like longer than like a timed demo or something like that.
Yep, they're still around.
See, yeah, there we go.
No late fees, cancel anytime. And you can buy your games through them too.
Exactly the point. Like if you really like the game, they give you the option to buy it. So there's another option right there. There you go. So it's almost like pre-ordering without pre-ordering.
Like I said, you may have to wait a week or so, 2 weeks, especially if it's a popular game. You may not be able to get a popular game right away.
Exactly.
But the idea is that you might be able to get a game that you really didn't necessarily want to buy and you wanted to try out.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you get 2 or 3 games, easy. Just switch them out every so often.
Yep.
And if you get a game that takes 24 hours and if you get a really good game and you really want to keep it and it's not a brand new game because you can't do it with brand new ones, but and it's not a brand new one, guess what? You can buy it. They'll send you the case.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
They send you the case. It's not a big deal, or if they don't have it, then you can have the option to go to the store and buy it if you want to pay the full rate for it. But it gives you that option to kind of play with no commitment to anything. You're not committing to, like I already told Harold, I have a game I'm giving to him. I haven't even touched the game in years.
I'm looking forward to it.
I haven't touched it. I have Thief. I'd actually put it in my bed somewhere, but I have Thief. It's been sitting in my house for years. Never touched the game.
Boredom is good.
But the thing is that if I would have known what I've known then, what I know now, I would have never bought it. Now, granted, I got it on sale, but I would have never bought it anyway. That would have been enough, some money I would have spent on something else. And I'm gonna find that other game too that I bought and I sent back. Hold on.
Real quick, just jumping back into the chat. Victor said, keep in mind that it's better to get digital towards the end of a PlayStation life cycle since a lot of PS4 titles will have PS5 versions. Like I said, if I have it for PS4, it's staying on the PS4. I mean, it is what it is. But digital would probably be the best bet right now.
Yeah, no, well, that's what they're doing for a lot of the stuff is that if you're getting the digital option, the digital sale is still going to be there on the PS5. So right now, the PS4, anything you're buying on PS4 right now is almost, especially Ultimate Editions, anything higher than that, automatically PS5 is more than 99.9% of the time it's going to happen.
I have, as far as like Cyberpunk 2077 is concerned, I have to see how it looks on the PS5 because if it looks better on the PS5, I'll wait to get Cyberpunk later on next year.
But it doesn't even matter at that point.
So it's like
because you don't have to rebuy it if you get the PS5.
Right. So I can literally wait. But real quick, Victor also said it's not Tom Holland. It's not the Tom Holland route. It's close to the voice actor. The voice actor for Spider-Man is Yuri Lowenthal. That's what he looks like. I think he looks more closer to the original design of Peter Parker for Spider-Man PS4 than he does for Spider-Man PS5. Maybe that's just me. I just think he looks more like the PS4 version than the PS5 version. I really feel like the PS5 version really looks a lot like Tom Holland. That's maybe it's just me, but I don't think it's just me because a lot of people have been saying that since they dropped the trailer a few days ago. She said, Josh said Sony is for cat games and Persona for me as long as they stay exclusive. And that actually brings up another interesting point. Exclusivity. I think we touched on this a little bit last week, but Microsoft bought Bethesda.
Yes.
They bought
and I
Bethesda.
am very not happy about that right now.
I believe I know they were trying to say that they were going to make them exclusive to Xbox, since Bethesda has deals with a whole bunch of different, Xbox and PlayStation stuff like that. But
there's games that are coming out that were announced that are coming out from Bethesda that are supposed to be on the PlayStation 5 anyway.
Exactly.
So I'm like, there's a little bit for me right now that I'm wondering if there's going to be games like another, I don't want to jinx it, but another Fallout game that's going to come out now that Fallout players cannot play, which was exclusive. It was not exclusive to any of them. Now you have to buy, you have to buy an Xbox to play it now.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a huge step that they bought they bought them. Now, will they make them glitchless finally? Let's hope so.
That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Let's hope so, because they're known for glitches. What's the other thing? It makes sense to change the actor if they want to keep a consistent performance for the future installments and using enhancement for PS5. I guess.
I mean, it is what it is. I guess at this point, like I said, it doesn't really matter, because I'm not going to get Spider-Man for PS5. I already have it, so
Yeah.
I stick with what I got. So it's for the same reason I didn't get Injustice Gods Among Us for the PS4 when I got a PS4, because I already have it for PS3. Right. It doesn't make sense to just like rebuy the same game again for a new system.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna get to that in a second, Josh. Then Daryl says the only game he's able to beat are fighting games, and the only adventure game he was able to beat was Darkness 2.
Like a lot of these games, you just gotta devote time to it. That's all. It is what it is.
A lot of the games are beatable. It's like, especially if you play open world games, all it is basically learning how, and that's basically what it is. You just learn how to get an edge on everybody else, and then you become OP. You become super OP, and you just beat everybody with one, with one swipe of your sword.
Yeah, so it's literally an exercise in just getting OP. It's literally an exercise in just it's like, again, going back to Ghost of Tsushima. That's all I did. Like, I just went around getting all the crap, leveling my character up, getting my full life bar. So when it came time for the final showdown, no continues. No respawning. I was good to go.
Yeah, because at that point, the same thing with any game you do is like any adventure game you play. That's literally what adventure games you have to do. Yeah. Is that you don't play the storyline flat. They don't expect you to do that. They expect you to wander around and do all these different side quests you find along the way, and then wander back here, and then when they respawn, you wander back over there, and you kill.
See, it was different when we were younger, because we didn't really know about this style of gameplay. We didn't really know about. There wasn't too many open world games to begin with anyway. Back in our, except for Zelda, but and maybe the Final Fantasy games too. But
and Pokemon.
That too. But one of the games I remember where you had where they made apparent that you had to do a lot of side missions was Tomba. For some reason, I really enjoyed that game, but it had a lot of side missions. But all those things are set up to build your character up for you to go back on the main campaign.
Yeah, and that's what it is that. Like now, a lot of the stuff is ingrained in, especially a lot of people who play adventure games and open world games. A lot of it's ingrained for you to, this is the main quest, no problem going that way. Right. It's like, why are you going left? The person is dying over here. They'll be fine. I'll be back. Right. 3 days later, okay, you still here? Good, let's go. And then there's some games legitimately, if you don't do that main quest, that person dies. It does happen, but it's kind of trial and error at that. Yeah. Right. It's like we really have gotten it ingrained in ourselves to kind of build ourselves up to become super overpowered, so that when we go beat the monster that's in the in the basement, we kind of want to be able to do it in like 3 shots.
Exactly.
We're done, we're good.
This isn't back like in the game Genie days where we didn't have no choice but to look at the cheat codes.
Yeah.
To try to beat certain people because them games was hard as hell for no reason.
Yeah. I started playing Mike when I got my PS4. I was just it was like having a smorgasbord of everything. You have to understand, I'm a guy that's coming from off of playing games on old systems, and my eyes were just like, wow, look at all this cool stuff. I start on God of War. I'm like, no, let me go play The Last of Us. And like, okay, let me play a little bit. I was actually literally playing like 3 games at once.
That happens too.
So
yeah. And the worst part about when that happens is that you forget the controls for the first time you played, and then you're like, holy crap, how do I jump?
That happened. That happened to me. That happened to me this past week in playing Spider-Man. I was like, okay, how do I swing the web again? Like, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot how to play this. Like this isn't good.
I mean, I'm trying to sprint. I'm trying to play God of War and sprint, and I've been playing The Last of Us for like days, and I'm pressing. I mean, what's the sprint button for The Last of Us? It's L1, right? L1.
Most of the time it's L1, L2. Sometimes it's the L3 buttons or the R3 buttons. I'm like, it's like you never know. You never know depending on what game you're playing. It's like every game is so different. It's like, come on now, can I get a break? Like, come on now.
Right.
It's like, but it's like, and I can give you an example. Assassin's Creed. Didn't play Assassin's Creed for a minute. Forgot, and I forget which Assassin's Creed it was. They didn't give you a jump button. So he couldn't jump technically. So you had to actually press the run button and run up on something, and he would technically just hop up on stuff.
Yeah.
Totally forgot that part. End up killing a civilian. Oops, my bad. Like, oh, so yeah, that's not the right button. But it's like that's what happens when you play so many games and so much. But that's another reason why, unless you are playing your games and your game repertoire is empty, you have no games with any replay value, no games that legitimately you beat every single game, and you really need something else to play.
Right.
I still wouldn't pre-order. Go find something on the PlayStation Network. Seriously, like just go buy something on the PlayStation Network. It's not worth it. I mean, we have to be smarter consumers, in my opinion. Like I said, if you want the game, if you want the systems, go ahead. The systems are what you want and what you need. You really, really, really gotta have it. Fine, but I'm not gonna knock you if you do order pre-orders. Mm-hmm. If you are a pre-order person, and if that is the case, and that you really want to go do pre-orders, go ahead. Go. And like I said, I have been guilty of it just to get something stupid.
Yeah.
A pen, which I'll actually tell you my pen story now. So I have a pen from Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and Kingdom Hearts 3. I pre-ordered from GameStop. And I pre-ordered with the intentions of getting the pen for Kingdom Hearts 2.5. Right. And when I asked the guy at the GameStop counter, I said, do I get the pen with this like the last time? He said, yeah, sure. I've been in there multiple times since then. This guy has seen me multiple times since then because I was taking my time paying it off, Mm-hmm. Go in the store. I said, hey, where's my pen? Oh, yeah. So they weren't giving out pens to us this time. You had to order it directly from the company.
Wow.
Excuse me? I legitimately almost lost my mind.
Wow.
Just a little bit. So I legitimately almost cried in the store because I'm like, I said, I've been in here how many times and you didn't tell me that I wasn't getting something. So that is another downside of pre-ordering something, is that when the distributors want to, not the distributor, when the distributors are no longer getting the product, or they're promising products to people that they're not necessarily getting, or something gets pulled back, they don't necessarily notify you.
Right.
You have to go look for those changes actively. So if you're not actively looking for that and you're taking the word of the people that are selling you the stuff, that can legitimately be a make or break situation for you in that store right now. Because you can turn around and return it and be like, you know what, I don't even want to deal with this right now because I only bought it for this. But that's really not why I bought it. I want the games too, but you know.
Yeah.
But if you're buying exclusives can change. Most recently, I believe it was with the Fallout multiplayer game that they had offered certain people certain things, and when they got it, it was a piece of crap. You know, it was trash. You know, and people are paying hundreds of dollars for stuff. You know, people legitimately have to be careful. These manufacturers, these people that are putting this stuff out don't care. They just care about this. So if you're looking for exclusives, just keep that in mind, that they can change, they are subject to change, and they do not have to notify you if they change.
Right.
At all. So just keep that in mind when you guys do that.
Josh said that Microsoft owns Minecraft, but they make those multi-platform. Microsoft is basically going to be like Disney, but no matter what system, you're paying them in some way. Yeah, I figured that's what Microsoft was trying to do in the first place.
Well, Disney is technically EA. EA is technically a money cow, a cash cow. So, yeah.
I guess Bethesda, in its own right, is a pretty decent cash cow for the most part. Like,
well, not in the way that when I'm saying that like that, it's basically, I'm not gonna say it's a cash cow. They're a money grab. It's a better way. They're greedy.
Yeah.
EA is very greedy.
Oh yeah.
EA is Disney because they're both greedy. But yeah, no, Bethesda's not as greedy. They're just kind of lazy. Is a better way to put it. Lackadaisical. They have really good content. They have really good stuff. They have really good ideas. But when they put stuff out, it's not complete, and that's what I don't like about Bethesda. It's not 100% complete. You gotta wait a while.
Yeah.
But and then if Microsoft just lets it be cross-platform and does not try to do this exclusive thing, I wouldn't mind it at all. But I think if anything, if they maintained exclusive, I would probably never buy another Bethesda's game. I don't like Xbox.
Right.
So, and then I think he's talking about he tries to level up in prototype too. That's what I was thinking. That's what I think Daryl was saying. He said, Daryl also asked, Harold, do you remember Spider-Man and the X-Men back on Sega and Nintendo back in the 90s when it was hard for me to beat? So I took the game over to my godbrother's house who had a Sega.
I vaguely remember there were a couple of Marvel games that was for Sega. I remember there was an X-Men game. It was a platform side scroller that was the most annoying, probably the most unbeatable game, where it's one of those situations where you get hit, you get killed, you sent all the way back to the beginning.
I really gotta ask this, like Sega, Nintendo, and all you video game companies back in the 90s, what were y'all thinking? We were like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old.
Hey, look.
Hitting us with games.
They made bank off of us because, and
they
you know
sure
what?
did.
And they still make bank. Because I'll tell you right now, how many of us right now, if you put a Sega Genesis in front of us right now, or a Nintendo, how many of us wouldn't play for an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Hey, look, man,
3 hours.
We spent I don't know how many hours we spent playing Moonwalker. All right, we spent a couple of hours.
Oh man,
I will sit and play Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles until I beat the game. I will sit from beginning to end playing the game. It doesn't matter. Like Super Mario Brothers 3, I'll play that all day. I'll play Super Mario 3 all day. Like that's how much I love the game.
Because that's what it was. It's like back then, it was more about the puzzles and the challenge, and it's kind of more funny that these 2D, I don't even know, these platformer games were so much more intricate than what we have now by far, and more difficult, and even some of their storylines are better than the storylines we get.
That's true also. Games. That is true.
Like you play your first Zelda game, I'm like, come on now, everybody remembers playing Zelda for the first time.
Yeah. That
and like and
gold
how that
cartridge?
felt.
What?
How,
A
everybody how
gold
that
cartridge,
felt.
man. Come on now.
Yeah, gold cartridge.
That feeling of
Mm.
playing certain games changed the way a lot of us gamed. And like now we have an expectation for games that are a lot higher than a lot of the generation now. Like the generation now, it's like basically give me Call of Duty, give me, Fortnite, give me
Yeah, exactly. Minecraft, all that stuff. Yeah.
give me that and I'm fine. Where we're still looking for the adventurous storylines and stuff like that, but we're still looking for that glimpse of what we had when we were a kid,
Yeah.
when we
Right.
sat down and you played games until your knuckles were red and you're
Yeah.
I'm double jointed right now because I had the freaking gamer's fingers from playing games for too long, and
Yes.
muscle all swollen up and everything else because I done messed up the joint in my
Games were work when we were kids. Like we had to take.
Right.
I had to take breaks. I had to take like
Mhm.
breaks, like go walk around the house or something. Get something to eat. Get something to drink. Like take a rest, close my eyes for a minute, and then jump right back in the game because it was like
it was a challenge.
mm-hmm.
Now the challenge is a little bit like some of the games are still challenges. Don't get me wrong. Some of them are still challenges, but it was a different type of challenge. It was more of a puzzle you had to figure out, more of a timing you had to figure out, more of a rhythm. Now you still have it. It's just a different way. Now it's in a 3D platform,
Right.
4D,
Right.
like a 3D platform.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're looking at it from a different angle.
Yeah.
You have the ability to move around, go behind somebody. It's not like with Sonic where you had to kind of bounce around.
Yeah.
Eggman, and you had to back around Eggman. You had to spin to get her. It's not that same. Like I can go around him in a circle. Like
Yeah.
it's it's different now, and I think I really think that when they think about the games then and they think about the games now, Nintendo hasn't changed much as far as that's concerned. They really haven't.
They've been very consistent all these years.
They have been very consistent with their games, and I'll tell you what, it still works. Because how many of y'all play Animal Crossing right now?
Well, not me.
Right.
I mean, not me, but
I'm talking to one person. I know she's listening.
I know she mentioned it earlier in the chat about Animal Crossing.
But how many of us play Pokemon?
I mean, not me, but
I play. Look, my DS still has Pokemon on it. I'm not gonna sit there and pretend like I don't play Pokemon no more.
You know what? I mean, now that you mention it, we don't give Nintendo its just due. Now that I think about it, everyone's so wrapped up on PlayStation and Xbox and stuff. I'm like, you know what? Nintendo's been very steadfast all these years.
Mm-hmm.
And
they have, and it's been the consistency. It's been the same consistency. You have a DS. DS runs like a Game Boy with better graphics.
And it's like I'm thinking now, like I don't think I've ever had any issues, anything about Nintendo having issues with their consoles or handhelds or none of that stuff.
I mean, they do. They're just not as
prevalent
widespread.
as yeah. So kudos to Nintendo for standing strong. Kudos to Nintendo for that. Joss also said I pre-order for developers and teams that I love, so they keep making games. Yeah, that's a thing. Also,
that's the reason why I support it. That's why I bought Death Stranding. I have to say it. Like if it wasn't a Hajime game, I probably wouldn't have bought it. But because of Hajime game, I had to sit there. Like, you know what? Okay, fine. I had.
It's like me. It's like me with NetherRealm. With NetherRealm and like whoever's making God of War right now, like them, like like I guess brand support things like that.
Right.
So, but
and a lot of things as well. You want to make sure that you're, like I said, you want to make sure your developers are playing. That's why every BioShock game I get, I buy it out. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I like BioShock. Do I want them to put out another one? Maybe. Maybe. But if I can constantly, especially with these independents, I love indie games. Bring me more indie games. And even if they're like walking simulators, sometimes walking simulators are some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
Sometimes.
There's a
You
couple
know,
of
I have
there's a couple of indie games I download. I gotta look for them now.
there's a I bought Firewatch. Firewatch was a game that I was not expecting to like, but I actually ended up liking that game. You know, I
Mhm.
bought Everybody's Going to Rapture, which is very beautiful. It's very
Mhm.
quiet, it's very serene. It's something like if you just want something chill and you just want to just kind of just relax and it tells a story, but all you're doing is walking. There's no action, there's no nothing. You're just
Mhm.
walking. But
Walking.
it's just a beautiful thing. It's just like you just watching things happen in front of you. It's like
Right.
sometimes you just need that, you know? It's just like I don't need all this extra stuff. I just need to kind of just chill out.
Yeah.
Okay, repeat that again because like I love. I'm really enjoying. I just started playing Bioshock. Just started playing that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that universe. That world is amazing. I was like, yeah, can I walk around this thing and just enjoy the sights without having to like defend myself?
That's one of one of the beautiful things that drew me to BioShock. I told you I don't do horror games. I really don't. But I played BioShock mainly for the fact that as soon as you got down in the biosphere and you dropped down into, Rapture and you looked up and it's like, oh my God, what is this?
It's beautiful, man.
It's gorgeous.
It's a
It,
beautiful world. They created an amazing world.
it is gorgeous. And you're like, wow. And I'm like, I didn't even care that I was fighting big daddies and, harvesting little sisters. And, I didn't care. It was just, everything was so beautiful. And I just like, everything was so, even the dirtiness and the horribleness, it was so beautiful. And I'm like, I love that about games though. I think that's one of the main things I enjoy about games. And people like say, oh, you're not a real gamer if you enjoy the game. I don't care.
You enjoy what you enjoy, damn it. Come
I
on.
don't care. Sometimes the graphics makes a game.
Yeah.
Sometimes the graphics makes the game beautiful. And I think that's one of the games that no matter what, I always go back and play BioShock. It does not fail. I've always gone back. I bought the BioShock collection. I've gone back and played it multiple times. I love it. I can't stop. So it's like, so I continuously want to, if I want to keep playing your game, that says something. And even if I don't, even if I finished it, or if I kind of just want to walk around the world and kill stuff, and you should be able to do it. You
Right.
should be able to go in.
You remind me of Ricky Gervais. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
No, I don't care.
I don't care.
This is absolutely, if you really, really, really want to pay attention to what I'm doing, then you need a new hobby. All right.
Yes, great accent.
Oh man.
Because I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
But no, yeah, going back to and the game that I actually bought, the Order 1886. I bought it, sent it back the next day, bought it 6 months later, and gave it away 2 years later. Never played more than 10 minutes of the game.
Wow.
Never played more than 10 minutes. And if I would have watched, the reason why I stopped playing the game or bother opening it up in the first place is because I started watching reviews of it. I was like, wait a second, I just bought a horrible game.
Wow.
At full price. I'm like, oh no. Absolutely not. But yeah. So basically going back to what the topic at hand.
Yeah.
We definitely need to start being more. I personally think we need to start being more smart consumers. Pre-ordering games, definitely not the case. We definitely need.
I mean, unless it's a game that comes with something, like if you're like us that like collect like little statues and like little keepsakes that are part of the game, like if the only way you can get us through pre-ordering, then I can understand that.
And then sometimes they aren't even worth that, honestly.
That's
like,
true
it's
also.
legitimate. Like they give you like something that's cheaper than cheap. like, you know, I believe one of the Assassin's Creed, I want to say it was Black Flag, came with a statue, and I remember the statue broke on me like 2 weeks later.
Wow.
I put the whole statue together. It was broken 2 weeks later. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm like, you know, it's sometimes, like I said, you have to. It's a gamble. Sometimes you'll get really good stuff. Sometimes you get crap, and you know, you gotta hope you don't, you know, roll the dice for crap.
Yeah. At this point right now, you're probably better off like even me. I like I said, I've transitioned out of like pre-ordering for games and stuff that don't really come with anything. If there's something that's attached to the game that I like say like a figurine or a statue or like a bust or something, I'll just order it. I'll just go find it somewhere, and like, and then you can
more than likely somebody's selling it.
Exactly the point. Like, you can definitely find someone that's, whether it's on Amazon or eBay, or again, if you know someone that knows someone that knows someone that has the hookup, go talk to them. Like, things are easier now to attain. That you don't have to like jump through hoops or like kill somebody over at this point. You know, and I know pre-orders, like, that's been one of those things where it's like, I mean, look what's happening right now with PlayStation. You know, it's like, that could have been easily avoided. It really could have been easily avoided if they, like, people just take a step back, and like we talked about in the last week's show, just take a step back and realize, like, okay, maybe I don't need this right now. I can probably wait for everything to be worked out, like what we're doing right now. Again, waiting for all the kinks to be worked out, making sure everything's going to be running smooth by the time we get it. You know, waiting for more games to come out on the system that's going to be worth actually buying and stuff like that, and you know, just going from there. You know, I mean, again, everyone's free to do what they choose. I don't know, there's going to be a lot of people are going to still be pre-ordering all the way up until Christmas. Me, I can literally wait until next summer, or unless something comes out that I'm really dying to play, that I can only get on the PS5. Then that's when I'll get it. But other than that, So, you know,
just to answer Josh, Josh was saying, go back. Daryl was saying he had a hard time playing Disney Gargoyles on Sega back in the days.
You know what's so crazy? It's the Disney games that were the hardest. The Disney games were like the hardest. I don't understand. The Disney games were so hard. I remember my youngest sister rented The Little Mermaid. We had no idea where to go. It's like, who made this game? This doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. Like, Disney was on some other shit, you know, when we were kids. I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a game at y'all, and I want to see if you ever heard of it. And this is a ridiculously hard game for no reason.
Okay.
Echo.
That game, that I played that game one time. I'm like, and I told my friend, like, I never need to play this game ever again. This game makes no sense. I have no idea where I'm going. I don't even know what the purpose of this dolphin is.
It was
why did anybody have that game?
Look,
environmental statement of saving the.
I legitimately got to like 3 levels in. I legitimately got far in Echo. And then you get to a boss and you're like, I have no clue. All it does is make noise and then charge at stuff.
Right.
I'm like, and you know what's so crazy about Echo? They pushed that game hard.
Yes.
They did.
Yes.
The original game and the sequel. They had a nerve to have a sequel, first of all. I don't know how they did that.
I had both of them. I had both. I had Echo 1 and 2.
I don't know.
And I never even beat the first one.
I don't know how that came to pass. But they pushed that game so hard. I remember the commercials for that game. I was like,
you know what? I'm about to go see if somebody actually played that game online. Hold on, please hold. I'm about to go see if somebody actually played it.
I don't know why that game was such a big deal back then. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I just wanted to throw that out there because I like talking about ridiculously hard game. Echo.
I imagine the Dreamcast version of Echo being a lot better, but not by much. Maybe Josh, maybe you could tell me. Josh said there were no instructions for any of the Disney games.
That's true. That is definitely true.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know what's so funny? There's only one Disney game I ever beat. That was Quackshot. Quackshot was the only Disney game I ever beat. And that took hours of me just playing and grinding in that game. It was relatively simple, but it And you know what? I think I did cheat too. I think I added a cheat code to give me some extra lives and stuff. So I think I did that too.
Oh my
I
God,
did add cheat codes. Yeah.
Oh my God, if somebody actually did an hour-long playthrough of Echo.
Jesus Christ.
Well, more power to him.
Oh, it's actually, oh my, and then they did the Dreamcast version.
Oh dear.
An hour and 46 minutes.
Jesus. We really just played anything back then, didn't we? Like we really did.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to see the end of this. I've never seen the end of the game. I don't even know how it ends.
I'm curious. I might just watch that later just to see what this game was actually really like. Like I might just end up watching that later because I'm like I was never Echo never appealed to me at all. Like it never did.
No. I mean, it was. I had it. I got when I figured out how to get through like the first 3 levels. I was cool. But after that, I'm like, oh my God, I can't beat this game. I have no clue what's going on. I'm like, there's too much going on. I'm good.
The only other Disney game that really made me upset was the Lion King game.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I was even a demo pissed you off. Like,
that Lion King game was like, why? Like, seriously?
Because the jumps were all off.
Yes.
Like you jump, you're pressing the button, and it's like a second behind, and you're like, really?
I played Aladdin in the mall, and I was just impressed by the animation. I was like, "Oh, the animation is pretty good." Okay,
I'll give Sega credit. I'll give
home.
Sega a lot of credit because their frame rate animations in these games were like top notch.
Oh yeah, Batman the Animated game, that was pretty sweet. It looked pretty sweet.
You know, so like, but I don't know. Like, Sega, Disney was on some other mess with their games back in the 16-bit days. Like, even as 8-bit games with some of the Nintendo games, I'm like, yeah. Like, I don't know what y'all doing out here. I don't know who's making these games, but y'all need to stop because it doesn't make any sense. Like, seriously.
Just to answer Josh real fast, I never seen the Ezio statue. I've never seen it. I do still have my Jack in the Box, and no, it does not work. The Jack in the Box never worked. It's basically with the Brotherhood thing. They gave you a Jack in the Box and when you open the Jack in the Box, this thing's supposed to pop out, and it's a jester holding like a knife. But the problem is the way they made it, the jester actually doesn't pop out. You actually have to push his head down and kind of get him to pop out for you. Because legitimately, it's all he is on a spring, and you have to push him into the corner to get him to sit down properly in order to get the spring to pop up. It's and it's this little plastic box. Still have it though. Don't know why. I still have it. But yeah, my statue for Black Flag. The only thing I have for Black Flag is standing behind me right now. That's the only thing that's there. And honestly, it's the quality was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. That's another reason why I just don't do exclusives anymore for anything other than something that I can probably trade in eventually.
Right.
Or go pin trading with at Disney World because, pin trading is fun. Don't judge me.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
Saying nothing.
It's all good. Whatever floats your boat. Hey, listen, that's one thing about being a geek and being a nerd. You could just express yourself. It's okay.
But no, it's but I don't know. Do we have anything else to talk about on the topic?
I think the only thing I can really say at this point is this: as far as pre-ordering is concerned, do your research. That's pretty much what I can tell you. Do your research. Study the game a little bit more. If you can watch gameplay videos, because there's a lot of YouTubers out there and Twitchers that like get early access to the game, so you can probably find somebody playing it. Try to get a verdict from that. Whether they like the game or not really shouldn't deter you from whether you like the game or not. Like, just see how the gameplay works. Like I said, unless it comes with some kind of a perk or something like that, I say wait. Like, if it's a game you're not really desperately in need of getting, wait longer till it's on sale.
Right.
Or something like that. GameFly is still a pretty good viable option if you just want to test the game out yourself. And, if you don't like it, you can send it back. And if you do like it, you can keep it and purchase it further.
Right.
So.
And this goes for digital games as well, because I'm
Right.
actually looking at the Crash Bandicoot game right now, and I actually was looking to see what's the big deal about pre-ordering it before the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
And the only difference is that they're giving you skins.
Oh, that's it, man.
I'm like, they're giving you skins, so literally you're pre-ordering a game just to get skins for your character. It's not that big a deal.
I mean, and I'm
like,
I'm a skins kind of guy. I like changing my characters up a little bit, but like if it's not a dire need, if it's really not worth like the extra like $20 or $40, I ain't gonna do it. I'll just wait until like they reach like a package deal for the skins and stuff like that, which they usually do anyway. So
yeah, and definitely, and if you have a PlayStation, consider PlayStation Now. That's also an option available for most of you guys. So that way you can go in there, you can play games, and you can there's a lot of games in the repertoire to have. Like I said, I don't have it personally.
Me neither. I've been thinking about it, but like
the more I'm going into it now, the more I'm like thinking $4.99 a month is not bad. So $60 plus tax a year, it's not going to kill me, and I get to play as many games as I really want to. So definitely, they have a good repertoire for a lot of things, so always consider that as well. It's always an option, and then just hit up your friends sometimes. You hit up your friends have games they haven't touched in years and they're never going to touch again, that they let you borrow. They may let you have. If you have a friend like me, I just give away games because I'm just never going to touch them ever.
Right.
So yeah, you're going to just get games, or hit up your friends, neighbors, enemies, frenemies, hit them up. They may have something that they don't want, they don't need, and it's gonna end up in a giveaway pile. They're gonna trade it into GameStop for 65 cents,
Yeah.
Josh, thank you. I was trying to figure out what the Xbox included was. It was Game Pass. Thank you. I was trying to think about it. Thank you for letting us know that. I really was trying to figure out what it was. So it's Game Pass. So if you're on Xbox, got the Game Pass, there you go. Like again, it has to be something that you really have been dying to play. Like you've probably seen gameplay for before, things like that. Like I said, with Final Fantasy VII Remake, I don't even think I necessarily like pre-ordered it. I think I did from the PlayStation Network. I just brought it beforehand because it's Final Fantasy VII. Of course, I'm gonna get it. But other games, I'm definitely gonna be trying to be smart. And if NetherRealm does another Mortal Kombat game, that might be the first time I'll legit wait until the whole complete edition is out.
Yeah, because they usually don't put it out right away.
Exactly.
And a lot of times now they're just making everything, DLC.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to go in and purchase a lot of this stuff now. So it's like, like I said, when I bought Fallout, all the DLC for the most part was out already. So all that stuff that everybody was paying, like they were just getting into, I didn't really have to get into right away because I had time to beat the game and to enjoy the game for what it was. And when I got bored with it, then I got the DLC.
Right.
But also consider that as well.
Right.
Is this going to be a game that's going to have a lot of DLC? Is this going to be something where they're going to kind of keep tacking on stuff every single time? Consider it. Because there's a strong possibility that most games are going to have that. And especially with Assassin's Creed games.
Right. I can tell you right now, the games that are more than likely to push out DLC, fighting games. Fighting games are usually top tier of the games that will come out with DLC on a regular scheduled basis. Right. Anything dealing with war, Call of Duty,
like I said, you have your one-offs. Like I said, your your Fallouts, your Fallouts, your Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, things like that.
You're gonna have those, those one-offs where you're gonna have DLC content for those. It's gonna be actually. Why am I even I'm already in the PlayStation Store. Let's get it. Let's get a general look at what we're looking at here for DLC.
And really try to actually, and Kim already said it, but I'm gonna say it again. Take advantage of the online stores. Take advantage of the PlayStation Network. Take advantage of the Xbox Game Pass. You find a lot of gems. You'll most likely find games that you probably would have never thought of getting, but you see it and like Josh said, that's a lot of the indie games and stuff. Because like there's a lot of indie games that I downloaded and played for a little bit. I was like, you know what, this wasn't too bad. You know, of course, like, you know, I mean, I don't know if Xbox is doing this, but PlayStation, you know, they do like the 2 free games a month. You know, so
Yes.
you know, I downloaded Battlefront 2. I haven't started playing it yet, but I have it. So like, if at any point I feel like playing a Star Wars game, I'll just upload Battlefront 2 to the PlayStation 4, and I'll start playing that. You know, like, as much as we complain about the prices of these games, they've actually made it a lot easier for us to get them.
Yeah.
Now that I think
Yeah.
about it. So,
Yeah,
I mean, so actually, at the end of the day, pre-ordering really shouldn't even be an option anymore.
It's just but again, it's a cash grab for the
Yeah.
people that do it. I'm like, because you really, like I said, PlayStation doesn't have to do it because it's digital.
Right.
And again, most of your developers are only doing it if they're providing something with it.
Exactly.
So, and then the other thing too is a lot of the pre-orders come with systems. So you'll have system pre-orders as well. So it's like you literally have this whole kind of setup where you're kind of like, they're trying to entice you to kind of come in there and buy something, and just be a smarter consumer. I'm like, it's bottom line, you know, the fiasco of what happened with, you know, not only PlayStation but Xbox as well, with what's going on right now and how they didn't think the demand was going to be that high, and you know, the retailers really screwing them over and all that stuff. Nothing. We really, it's really, at the end of the day, if we are smart consumers, we'll wait, because you already know PlayStation is going to come out with this month, or no, actually, what are we now? We're in October now. Next month. Yeah. Think about it. Are we September, October? I don't know what month we're in anymore. Next month, they're going to come out with it, and 6 months down the road, it's going to be a different version.
Yeah.
Right.
And at that point, that different version is going to make that version a lot cheaper by far, and those are going to go flying off the shelves, or you're going to spend your $600, $700, whatever they're going to charge you, they want or whatever, on the other one, because that one's going to have something different from this one. It's going to have 2 terabytes, 3 terabytes, 5 terabytes, I don't know, but something's going to be different that needs to be changed from the actual prototype.
Right.
Not from the actual prototype, from the actual the initial release. And it's always going to happen because something's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to consoles, something's going to go wrong. First gen consoles are always the test dummies.
Yep.
Always the test dummies. It's like you never get the first round of immunization for some people.
Exactly.
That's the reason why. Unless you're volunteering and they're paying you to do it, and if you pay, and if you're online now, Sony listening, hi. Hi. Unless you're paying us or providing us with a free one, I see the shameless plugs. I see no need. I really don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. Because at that moment, they're just gonna put out a new one. Same thing with Microsoft. Microsoft maybe not, because Microsoft doesn't make that many changes to their stuff. They kind of just put out their crap, and then if the crap doesn't work, they just fix the crap and then put it back in your hands, but you still have the same thing as you had before. They just fix whatever was wrong with it.
There is all, and you actually took the words right on my mouth. There's always going to be a PS Slim in the near future. There always is. Yes. They always find a way to take the technology that fit in the big fat boy, and they put it in a smaller version. It never fails. Like, I believe we had the PS4 Slim, but then we had the PS4 Pro. So, again, it could go either way. They could either go slimmer, or maybe they'll make it bigger. We don't know. But that usually doesn't come until, like, maybe a year out. Maybe a little bit longer than that.
No, it'll be about, they usually do, it's about June of next year. I put money on it. June of next year, we're probably going to get released.
Yeah.
It's about June. They don't wait that long to put out their new systems because it's money at that point. They could put this into a slimmer system, which honestly I don't think they should do.
Right.
I think that they should do is that they should add more to this one, so that way it makes it more appealing.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I forget what the hard drive is on this one. I think it's a terabyte, but add in 2 terabyte hard drive.
Yeah.
That way it's enticing me more to buy it.
Yeah.
And that one,
Right.
give me something to actually push for that extend, for waiting so long to buy it.
Yeah.
And then because really you pay the same rate anyway, so it doesn't make
Right.
a difference. You're paying the same price as the original cost.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
you might as well charge me, because it's not going to cost you that much to put an extra terabyte
It's
in there.
really not. It's really not. If
Mhm.
we can go out and buy like 1 to however many terabyte, separate pieces of separate devices,
Mm-hmm.
you guys can easily just add it into your system. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
that hard. Like
Yeah, but
you can probably go on YouTube and find videos of people who changed out the hard drive and put in a bigger one.
that's what I did with my Fat Boy
Yeah,
before I gave it away.
it's not that hard. If we can do it,
Mhm.
they can definitely
yeah.
do it. Okay, they can definitely do it.
Yeah,
You know,
and
Right.
but all in all, as I said, I agree that just wait, be smarter consumers. Just
like
in my opinion, IMO. This is the opinion of the council. This is not the opinion of anybody else. We're not going to be
exactly
forcing
right.
opinions on anybody.
That's
We're not telling you, oh my God, wait. But the council said I had no.
These
I'm
are
just saying, be
merely
smart.
these are merely
disclaimer.
these are merely suggestions. Again, you don't have to follow our lead. We're just being a little bit more conscious these days because
And we're
we
just
That's all.
yeah.
we're just saying, just be smarter. If you're gonna
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna hurt us. It's just your wallet, your money,
It's your world.
your prerogative.
We're just urging you to do your homework and take the necessary precautions.
Yeah.
It's like
And
sex.
Hey.
But again, knowing me, I probably I'll get a bundle. Like the only way I'll probably get a PS5 is if it's like a bundle. Like if it happens to be a game that I want to get and it's bundled with the PS5, that's probably when I'll do it. But again,
Right.
I'm fine, and I'm literally fine until next summer. I'm really in no rush. And like with PlayStation Now and the PlayStation Network, I'm pretty sure there's still a lot more I can get out of my PS4.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, like I'm looking at getting a Switch. As soon as I can get my hands on a
Mhm.
Switch, I'm looking at getting a Switch. That's going to preoccupy my time as well,
Exactly.
because now I'm going to be wanting to play games on the Switch. So literally, we have enough in this world right now to keep us preoccupied.
Exactly.
And that's another thing as well. Like, I think maybe another topic. Have we lost touch with reality because of all the stuff that we have in our hands?
Yeah.
That is an interesting topic. Well,
Why does this always come to me at the end of the conversations?
I don't know.
But you know what? That's a great lead into the next show. I'm looking forward to. I want to talk about that.
So that'll most likely be our next show. We'll discuss it first. We'll either do that, or I mean, we gotta figure when we're doing.
Well,
we gotta figure when we're gonna do. Yeah.
Yeah, we can probably talk about that next week, because we're probably going to be heated from. Actually, no. What is next week? Next week is the VPs. Next week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's next Tuesday.
And I believe the president is the week after that.
Yeah, and then the second presidential debate is right after that. So,
Lord have mercy.
Yeah. So.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, this is a fun time of the year.
Yeah. It's a lot of interesting things happening right now. As far as our next watch party, we're gonna try to schedule that out. We're gonna try. I think we're gonna do a horror movie. I think we should definitely do a horror movie, just because it's October and Halloween's around the corner. So we'll probably make our watch party a horror movie, and we're gonna try to get Matthew to come in. He's just not gonna know about
buddy.
it. He's just not gonna know about it. So don't tell him. We're gonna try to trick him into coming into the watch party for a horror movie. So.
Oh man.
Mum's the word, as they say.
But my lips are sealed.
And Matthew, if you're listening, you didn't hear anything. I swear we didn't say anything like that. Absolutely not. We did not say that on the record. Absolutely not. That was not us.
But I think next week's show we're gonna tackle, whether just society as a whole has just lost touch with reality. I'll preempt you right now. I think so, but we'll get into that next week.
For sure.
That'll be next week's show. All that being said, thank you guys again for tuning into our show. Hopefully this was pretty. Hopefully, I mean, this wasn't directed to be informative, but hopefully it was. It's just about being smart with your dollar now, and also being smart with your game time. Really, I mean, you don't want to waste your game time on a game that you didn't like when you could have been playing something that you could have.
It's like going to a meeting when it could have been a memo.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, so we'll be back again next week. We'll try to be more open about what the time we're going to start. I was running late. I was at my Friday school. I've been putting a lot more time in there lately, so I may be there again next week. So if anything, the show will probably start at 8. Just to give you guys a time to get yourselves ready. So we'll probably start at 8 o'clock. But again, as always, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Discord. All our social media platforms are always in the description box, so please feel free to follow us there. If you want to continue the conversation in Discord, you're welcome to do so. We try to put up clips on our Instagram so you can catch a little glimpse of it and other pictures and stuff. Of course, our Facebook fan page is for you guys to share your love. If you want to share things with us, if you want to share video clips with us, definitely do that also. We might talk about it in another show.
Yeah, give us something to talk about.
Yeah. Honestly speaking, if it wasn't for this topic, I was actually going to suggest we do things from Reddit. Do some Reddit stuff. Even if it's unpopular opinions and something like that. I was thinking about that. Maybe that'll be a future show. At some point, that'll be a future show. But of course, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Again, hit the bell right next to the subscribe button so you know every time we go live or when we drop another video. All right. I don't know. I'll try to get back into doing breaking news videos for the channel. I'll try to do that. But more than likely, since we've been consistent every week, we'll just usually cover it in the show. So, unless we hit a thing where we're gonna have to spread the shows apart, this will just be it. Because again, we've been really consistent since quarantine. So,
yeah.
So,
patting ourselves on the back there.
And people, by the way, I don't know if you can see my shirt. Make sure you do this.
I got my ballot in the mail today. Mine came in the mail today. Mine came today. So
make sure this happens.
Look,
I sent mine off today.
I'm gonna fill mine out tonight and send mine off tomorrow. Listen, I'm trying to tell y'all right now. After that BS we saw, what was it, Tuesday night? Look, man. Like homeboy said, it was a hot mess.
It was a hot mess.
Wrapped in a dumpster fire. Wrapped in a train wreck. It was bad. This is where we are in 2020 right now.
Horrifying.
So honestly speaking, video games are a good distraction. Really.
Yeah, it is.
But please don't be like these other people. Go vote. Just do it. Just go vote. Seriously.
Vote. This is gonna be my shirt until election day, by the way. So I'm not
seriously.
Go
vote. Even if it doesn't help, it definitely doesn't hurt. Honestly speaking.
Yeah.
Even if it does help, it definitely doesn't hurt. So just do it. Because we are. Yeah,
it's a necessary evil at this point. So
honestly speaking.
Right now at this point, you need to, your voices need to be heard more and more.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you guys are spreading your voices. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what side of the spectrum you are. We have to make sure we understand that people are going out and doing what they need to do to vote. It doesn't matter who you. I'm not gonna say political parties or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just go out and do it, and you do it right. No, don't go out intimidating people or not reading directions, or go out and do it. If your state is doing mail-in ballots, get them in early. If you can't, drop them off at either there's Dropbox here in New Jersey. You can drop them off, and there's central locations where you can go drop them off in person. And at the ballots, on the days of the ballots, you can legitimately on election day, take it to the actual ballot, but it has to be you in the state of New Jersey. Take it to the ballot and hand it to the person with your ID. You have to take them both in there. So literally, if you are going to vote, now is the time. You need to do it. You need to be heard. Please go vote.
Yeah, please do go vote. I mean, you have no idea how important it is right now.
Yeah.
You can't complain if you did not vote.
Exactly. Real quick, Daryl asked for our next show, can we talk about the latest episodes of The Boys season 2? I don't know if you're watching. Kim, you're not watching, right? So yeah, Kim's not watching. Harold, are you watching?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching too, but I know Kim isn't, and I know Tani isn't also. I'm gonna do a review once the season is over, so definitely look out for that on my channel. I'll do a review on season 2 of The Boys. In fact, probably season 1 and 2, because I never did a review for season 1. So I'll do a review for both seasons, just like I did Cobra Kai for both seasons. So I'll do a review for both season 1 and 2. But all that being said, we will catch you guys next week with our next show. And as always, the council has spoken. That wasn't singing, Josh. It wasn't singing.
No.
See, Kim's gonna start now. See, she's gonna start now.
It's not unusual.
She's gonna start with the Tom Jones and all this other stuff. Like, she asked for a whole concert next, man. She gonna ask for a whole.
Every time I'm gonna say this right now. Every time I hear that song, I don't think of Carlton. I think of Mars Attacks.
Yeah, right.
I do too. I kind of just did also when you started doing that. I kind of did also. But yeah, we will catch you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. We're out.
All right, bye y'all. Bye-bye.
Council of the Blurs, a Geekcast. The council has spoken. End transmission.